there's certain times as a content creator here on YouTube where you don't know why or how or what you're about to make a video on, but you just need to press the red button and start getting things off your chest, man. And that's how I feel right now. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I just need y'all to hear me out, man. I just need y'all to hear me out. Because this adventure and this journey that I've been on for the past couple of days has been something extremely special, man. So when episode 29 of ReZero came out, I loved that episode so much that I decided to put an end to it right there. I was like, I'm stopping right here because I want to go back to the very beginning and go into it with eyes, like with new eyes. You know what I mean? I want to go into it because I'm a big advocate of going back and re-experiencing a series after a couple years if it didn't hit, right? Because ReZero for me is something that I really enjoyed, but it wasn't on the level of like my other favorites, right? So, and it's crazy because it always had the formula. It always had the thing that I know I would love, but it just didn't connect with me in that way when I first initially watched it. And so going back to it now, I don't remember when season 1 aired, but going back to it now, yo, you see, this is why I always push people to go back. I don't care how many years it's been, and to just go back and watch something from the very beginning to see how you feel about it now in comparison to then, man. Because it is so important. There's so many things that you could have gone through. There's so many things, your mindset could have changed. Whatever could have changed, right? At least for me, that's how it is for me. That's what happened with me in Tokyo Ghoul. That's what happened with me in Attack on Titan. And so to add this to that list now, and the thing is, Attack on Titan and Tokyo Ghoul, I legitimately disliked. I've always liked ReZero. It just didn't connect with me in that way. But as I sit here in this chair right now, oh boy, oh man. Last night, I finished episode 31, and I was like, hold on, bro. Hold on, man. Hold on. And I was like, I need to talk about this, bro. I need to. This is something that just, it's bursting, you know what I mean? I feel like a volcano ready to erupt, dog. This series right now, man, is hitting on every single level, bro, that I could have ever wanted it to hit. It has the thing, right? My favorite thing in almost all of my animes have this. Or at least all my favorite animes. They do something where they'll play the opening or the ending within the episodes, during amazing moments to end off the episode, if the case may be. ReZero barely, I swear I've only seen the opening for ReZero like 5 times. Because it feels like every single episode starts off with the credits, and then in the middle of the episode, opening or ending plays in the most legendary fashion, and then the other song that didn't play, it goes at the end of the episode with the credits still rolling, and with the characters still talking in another amazing moment. And it's like, I love that. Like, I absolutely adore that stuff in anime and manga. Or just in anime. Manga doesn't have that, but in anime, right? And it's like, with my love and my appreciation for that growing throughout the years. And I'm like, bro, how did I not, like when I initially went through how did I not, go nuts for this, right? And, man, dude, Natsuki Subaru's journey, from where the series started up until where I'm at now, I'm not even caught up, but until where I'm at right now, son, oh, I love my dude, man. I love this dude, son. Yo, listen, man. So when I was going through the episodes and I was remembering, there was a lot of stuff that I forgot. So I was so happy that I was going through it. And I was like, man, I had a lot of stuff. I was like, yo, did this happen? Like, oh, what did the flag stars happen here? So that's how you know I really needed this. But going through those episodes, especially at the beginning, the thing that really hooked me wasn't even the story itself. It was more of the way that it was structured, the moments between the characters that genuinely flowed so well. And I was not really impressed with White Fox. I believe that's the studio, right? White Fox? For the way that they were able to adapt this material. Because I'm pretty sure ReZero is like Monogatari, right? Where it's a light novel first. If I'm not mistaken, you can correct me on that. I'm not well versed in ReZero, but I know how hard it is, or at least I've seen how hard it is to adapt the type of material onto the screen. You know, Shaft did an incredible job with Monogatari, but in ReZero's case, it is just because in Monogatari, it was Shaft. The visuals accompany the dialogue so well, and it's like the perfect marriage of Nisio Isin's work and Shaft being an incredible studio. In this case, however, with White Fox, it's like they're not even doing going the extra mile with the visuals. It's just the way they're making the scene flow from word to word, from one person speaking to the other person speaking. It's just, it flows so well. And it is like, I've been trying to, because this is something I've been studying for the past like couple of years, is flow in stories, right? How do you make things flow to where you can just watch and be completely immersed? Because if things aren't flowing, you can't be immersed. And so the one thing throughout the entire first portion, before I get into the episode that really made me like, sweet mother of flag darts, this is the greatness. Up until that point, I was like, brother, this show flows. Like, there's just something about it to where it's like, it's kind of hard to explain. It's like, dog, it's like you're seeing magic happen before your eyes. And in the way that the story is able to unfold, the way that the mysteries are able to hit you at just the right moment where you need to click on the next episode. It's almost like the series, I don't know, like I said, I don't know how the original work is, but at least in the anime's case, it's almost like the anime just picks the perfect moments. But the thing is, as well, is that they're adapting another thing from the source material. So it's like the source material needs to have this as well, where every single episode, even if it's the most minuscule of things, like I'll give you a perfect example, right? When Julius showed up the second time, I was so hyped to watch the next episode, right? And it's just a character popping up once again. It's not like how ReZero's episodes normally end, where it's absolute insanity or something extremely depressing, something whatever that makes you want to click on the next episode. And we're like, man, that is a character showing up, picking up from a plot point that took place earlier on in the story. You just want to see how Subaru is going to react to this, right? And it's the way that every episode ends in a way that makes you want to click on it, and yet the episodes don't end in the same way. Like, episode 7 does not end the same way as episode 12, and stuff like that, right? So that's the thing that really, really had me like flagging. It's the flow, the structure of these episodes. I was in awe. And maybe that's why now I have a deeper appreciation for ReZero than I did back then, because I didn't have this knowledge back then, right? So it's like, man, it's hitting. And then the characters are hitting, man. I love so many of the characters. I love their quirkiness. I love the comedic bits. One thing that ReZero has, now that I'm going to touch upon the episode, because like I said before, episode 29 was undisputedly my favorite episode until I did this adventure I'm on, man. Look, man. When I reached episode 18, all right. Now, I remember this episode being legendary, but I didn't remember it being this legendary, bro. I didn't. Not in the slightest. I have come to realize that I absolutely love when you have a massive cast and yet you spend a good episode's length on just 2 characters, or on just two to 3 characters. That you spend one single focus, like one chapter on a single focus, and you put everything that you have into that one conversation or into that one situation, and you don't move to anything else. but you have it into just that one moment. I have come to realize that I absolutely adore that in my stories, because it is such a rarity when you have a massive cast as big as the cast of ReZero, right? And I've noticed that throughout the past couple of years with the things that I've been watching, the things I've been reading, specifically in anime and manga, whenever you do have an opportunity to sit down with just two characters as they're having an intense conversation for a prolonged period of time, regardless of whether it's an emotional conversation, an eye-opening conversation, an extremely intense conversation, whatever the case may be, that tends to be an extremely immersive experience. And episode 18, son. Episode 18, titled From Zero. I don't even know if I have the words. I don't even know if I have the words, bro. Yo, dog. When I tell you, like, bro, I started the episode, right? And I was like, okay, you know, this is, I remember this one being a good one. So I was looking forward to it. Yo. Yo. Dude. It's just, man, you know, with the amount of time that was given toward, you know, from the another similar situation though in terms of structure that I was talking about that I really adore, where you ended off the episode with Emilia and Subaru and their argument and them going their separate ways, and you see everything that Subaru's trying to do and how it continues to be a failure. It continues to be a failure. It continues to be a failure, right? And no matter how many times he goes back to that mansion, there is something that ends up killing him off. And something that ends up making the situation worse for him in his heart, to where he really, like, it starts, the decline is at the highest it's ever been. And what I love so much about this in this particular section of the story is that up until this point, we had seen Subaru as a character that it's almost like he was fooling us as much as he was fooling himself. You know, I felt like at that point in time, no matter what took place, this man would always have a plan, always be able to have something in mind to be able to get him out of a situation, no matter how drastic it got. And then it got to the point to where now he lost the one pillar of support, the one thing that he had always been relying on in order to ensure that, you know, this is the one thing I'm working towards. But now that thing is not there anymore. What is going to be the thing that is going to allow me to move forward and move past this thing? And what I love so much about it here is that we were able to see his character and really dive into his psychological, or at least into how his brain and his mind and how his emotions, just a full out introspection of Subaru, right? For like these 4 episodes of you just going into his mind and him questioning, who am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? For her, for me, for us? Like, what is, and I love how these questions isn't something that's brought up in one single moment. It's a question or several questions that are answered throughout the course of several episodes, but he himself isn't the one that comes up with these answers. The one that comes up with the answers is the one who's been with him this entire time, that he helped change just before this happened, and that was Rem. And so he and Rem go on this journey together. And the thing is that Rem does not return to death. Rem is just Rem here, right? So Subaru's going through all of these experiences. Rem continues to be with him throughout all of this. And so by the time that episode 18 hits and all this is taking place, and my man's mind is shattered beyond the lengths of the flag nards. He doesn't know what he's about to do, he's going to do anymore. My man's has been bamboozled. He's been betrayed. He doesn't know who to trust. He doesn't have anyone. And so here he has the one person that's been with him this entire time, right? At least on the solo journey aspect of this portion. It's kind of crazy that all of that happens in the span of, what was that, like 4 episodes or whatever it was? And I feel like an entire arc, you know what I mean? But so you have this character that's been with him this entire time. And then you have an entire episode dedicated to a conversation on a rooftop between the two characters, seeing both of their sides of this. you have Subaru attempting to, weasel his way out of coming to grips with the facts here, about what he actually needs to confront here. And then you have Rem, who is attempting to be a pillar of support, and with what she's saying. And then Subaru comes back, and now he's really starting to be like sweet mother of Flagnards, and he starts diving into his heart, and he starts speaking about how he truly feels, but still holding a little bit of that back. And then he goes from holding a little bit back to fully embracing the fact and just going into straight up, I'm a failure mode. And straight up, digging onto everything that he felt before he even entered this world type of mode, where he's like, yo, I'm like nothing. You know what I mean? Like I've just continued to fool everyone else as much as I've fooled myself. And there's nothing that I can do. There's nothing that, it's all these failures are piling on top of his head. That's an extremely relatable situation, because I'm sure all of us have gone through that, right? But in his case, because of the way the story is structured, he's forced to relive these failures over and over and over again until he eventually succeeds. It's so brilliant, right, in the way that it's done. But so Rem comes in and delivers one of the greatest single speeches of inspiration I have ever heard come out of somebody that's not the main protagonist. It is absolutely GOAT. And the fact that it goes back to the title is what makes it so fire to me, man. Like, man, goodness gracious. The entire thing, she lists absolutely, because right after Subaru just listed off everything about himself that he did not like, right? She goes on to state everything about him, those very same things that she absolutely loves. And then goes on to state that from now on, but the both of us, you can start over from square one and screw all that. You're going to start over from zero. Because you are my number one hero. You know what I mean? You are going to live up to that of being my number one hero. And the music, the way that the background moved with like the doves, the flowing hair, the animation, I was like, dog, this is like one of my, this feels like one of the greatest scenes I've ever watched in anime, you know what I mean? And I was just sitting there losing my mind as this was happening, and then following that up with Subaru's response to that. And now he's back into it. And then you go into the white whale stuff, and I absolutely adored this entire section, really forcing everyone to work together, and then seeing these amazing flashback sections with like the original Master Swordsman and what's his name, Wilhelm, and their stuff. That stuff was awesome sauce. But just, man, dude, it's like at that point, and at that point I was like, man, yeah, this is my jam. This is my jam. And you follow that up with another incredible scene on that similar type of wavelength with, I believe it was episode 24 or 25, whenever Subaru's finally able to meet up with Emilia again. And it was episode 25, because it was the end of the first season. And they have this moment together that was just, it was hitting, it was firing, and the music that was playing in the background, legitimate, man, it was tears, son. So I was like, yeah, no, this is hitting different. This is my jam right here. Like, I'm really, really enjoying this. And it's been something, on that same wavelength. This series has an incredible way of not only introducing characters, but producing plot threads from those character introductions. And I think that's very important for a series that's structured like this. But there's just something about the way that this series is able to introduce a character and then immediately have the stakes raised because that character exists, not just in that moment, but later on, right? So like, let's just say you initially meet up with, two examples would be, Reinhard and Priscilla, right? You meet up with Reinhard the first time, you're like, yo, this dude is awesome, he's a beast, but you don't end up seeing the payoff to that until whenever they're fighting, what's her name, Elsa, which she's currently putting in work right now, season 2, but You know, until you see her and you're trying to figure out how what is it that you're gonna whoop her, right? You're like, oh, when the flying funnels didn't get this done, then he shows up right there in the nick of time and starts going up to like somewhere, and really showcasing just how strong the individuals in this verse can be. And you go from that, and then in Priscilla's case, where they met in the same exact area, that same like back alley and whatnot, and then she ends up being the reason why Subaru was able to hijack a ride into the royal palace during that whole selection process. And it's like, I love stuff like that, man. I love whenever you introduce a character, you see them, you get to see a bit of their personality and whatnot, but you don't see them for a while, and whenever you see them again, you're like, oh, that's why they were introduced. That's their importance to the story and whatnot. And I know it's a very simple thing, but seeing it done with so much consistency, because those are just two examples, right? This series does it a lot. And so to see that with in a way that's very consistent, and to continue to have that to where you know when a character is introduced, when you see a character, you never know just how important that character is going to be, or why they're going to be important, or what type of importance they're going to have. And so going back, continuing on the same thing in season 2, you know, starting that off and whatnot, I absolutely adore the concept of this arc that we're currently on. I adored it when I first watched it, but especially now, of having to confront your own past before you can move forward, right, within the trial. You know, something that's very important, and something that just within a theme and a personal belief, I think can be very well done, especially in a series like this. But man, excuse me, whenever I rewatched episode 29 with all of this, it just, excuse me, I ended up loving the episode even more than I did when I initially watched it. And I think it's still like it's between that and 18 right now is my favorite episodes in the series. And it's tough because this series has a lot of fantastic episodes, man. Like, and I mean that, like, a lot of fantastic episodes. But that one in particular, episode 29, I think the reason why I loved it so much, and the reason why, like, my initial opinion on ReZero started really changing for the way better, why I really wanted to be like, you know, because after I watched that episode, I was like, man, I have to go back. Like this series is for me, man. I have to go back now that it's been a couple years and give it a rewatch, because obviously this is hitting extremely hard. And so once again, you get to a scenario where it's just, honestly, the entire episode is 3 different conversations. You know what I mean? The beginning of episode 30 aside, which Echidna, man? How do you say her name? Echidna? She's a goat. She's a goat. You know what I mean? It honestly reminds me of the whole, the beginning of Owari in Monogatari, with like the whole Ogi and an Aradagi conversation. I'm not sure if that's what they were going for, but it reminded me of so much of that. But regardless, the entire thing between Subaru and his dad, and then following that up with Subaru and his mom, and the way the episode split up into those 2 parts, and the importance of those 2 conversations needing to happen, just, bro, I don't even know if I could put it into words how special that episode is. That is truly like an S tier episode in every sense of the word, and it is because of the journey that you've been on with Subaru up until this point in time, and not knowing a single thing. I mean, you have hints towards how life was before, right? But to be able to see it with your own 2 eyes, and even though these 2 characters are created by his own imagination, from his own experiences, that Echidna was able to recreate this whole thing. But in Subaru's words in episode 30, like, listen, man, I don't care if they were fake or not. I thank you for the opportunity to be able to finally tell them that. And it's like, you know that, and it's so beautiful, bro, because Subaru never would have been able to do that. Like, up until he remembered everything that took place within the story so far, he was acting just like he did initially, right? But then whenever he remembered Emilia's voice, and he remembered everything that took place up until that point in time, you know, then it was like, yo, nah, man, hold on, Chief. And you can see how the journey so far has changed him. And you can see how the journey so far has really made him a better person. and it was really, really beautiful seeing that moment there with his pops, and then same thing with his mom, man, and then having the little flashback moment to where his mom told him to take care whenever he initially went out into the, to go into the store, and which was what the series started and whatnot. And so to have that moment twice, before he went off into the school, and then of course following that up with the flashback to whenever she said it in the before he went off to the department store, the grocery store, or whatever it is. It was just so nice to have that end off there, man. And then when he looks back, smiles, waves at them. It's just it's beautiful, bro. Like it honestly, it's like it's just one of those episodes to where you just have to experience it yourself, man. And it's insane because it's a 30-minute episode almost, and it feels like it goes back in like a flash, because of this stuff that's taking place. And not only can you not believe it's taking place, but it's like I love that episode so much, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know if it's just me, but man, that episode is absolutely sensational, and I am very much looking forward to seeing how the rest of the series goes on from here, because now ever since episode 30 until where I'm at now, it is all new ground, and I cannot wait to see where this all goes from here, especially with how things are currently taking place. The last episode cliffhanger, Beatrice, which I like, goat name, by the way, yanked him out of Elsa's grasp and took him into the door. So I was like, sweet mother of five, so it's about to take place now. And so, yeah, man, it's been a very good journey so far. It's definitely been one of those eye-opening experiences where my belief that I continue to talk about on this channel, it's one of those things that I'm very passionate about, that if you're not rocking with something, whenever you first initially watch it, give it some time, man. Give it some time and come back to it whenever, I don't know if it's a couple years, couple months, whenever you're feeling it, and really give it the time of day, because you never know when it could end up being something special for you. And now this has happened with several different stories. This is something I'm definitely going to continue to talk about on this channel, in terms of making sure that people give series a second opportunity and a second chance, because it is something that can twist your opinion or make it better, or whatever it is. So earlier today, I went to Books A Million and managed to see what one of the novels looks like. And I was like, dude, once I catch up, I have to buy these, man. I at the very least have to buy my favorite episodes in novel form, just to see how they are within the novels and see how the descriptions are, how everything flows, the prose. Like, I have to, man. I have to. I don't care if I buy it physically, digitally. The moment I saw that novel, I was like, no, hold on, man. This is, it has to be purchased, like I said, at the very least. If I can't get any of them, at the very least, like my favorite volume or my favorite episode, whatever it is in novel form, I gotta get it. But man, dude, I just finished binging, and I was about to continue binging, but I was like, hold on, bro, hold on. I just reached episode 39, right? And I have so many thoughts, man. I have so many, like my brain is attempting to keep up with everything that's going on, because it feels like every episode there's like 70 different things. Like, now I understand why on a weekly basis it feels like somebody can talk about ReZero as long as I talk about a One Piece chapter, because it feels like there's just so much to dissect. And it's like, bro, this is madness. All right, this is madness. I don't even know where to begin, man. I mean, I guess I'll start off with the legend. You know what I mean? The Witch of Greed. I still don't know how to say her name in English, man, but we're going to go with Echidna, all right? Now, yo, this is nuts. Every time it's like that has become something within this series, and ReZero, because it is based on, of course, the whole video game concept, and how I'm pretty sure I can just imagine that the creator of ReZero one day sat down in his room and was just playing through whatever game it is and was like, you know what? Save points are a very interesting thing, because every single time that I die on said save point, I'm pretty sure the individual must have been playing like one of the old school RPGs that don't allow you to save whenever you want. Like you have to reach a certain save point, or but whatever, right? It's like I understand, and that's why I've really come to appreciate and love this series. Is because it takes that one aspect of a save point and makes an entire story out of it, and it's so genius, right? But these last couple episodes have just given me, it's it's just like, bro. So every time they have a conversation over there in the graveyard with Echidna, and then just recently I was able to see like all of the other ones in the Tea Party, which was that episode was crazy from beginning to end. From beginning to end, the twist just never stopped coming. I actually thought he was gonna grab Echidna's hand. I actually did. I was losing my mind. I was like, hold on, coach. Like, don't tell me that this man, because he just went through this massive breakdown, because right before that, he is forced to live through, as a part of the second trial, and I'm going to assume that's where we're about to head here soon as well. As a part of the second trial, he witnessed and experienced how everything happened after his deaths in all of the other parallel worlds. And I was like, my mind was blown, because I had never thought about that. Or at the very least, if I did think about it, I was like, they're never going to talk about something like that within the series. You know, that wouldn't, I'm not going to say it wouldn't defeat the purpose, but it feels like it wouldn't serve any purpose. Oh, it does serve a purpose. It serves an extremely important purpose. And so just seeing his reaction to that, and I can completely understand. Like, I felt every single bit of his mind just shattering for his eyes. My mind was shattering, especially in the way that it was handled. Like, I forgot what was the words that was stated before. It was like unpleasant truth, or behold a pleasant truth, whatever it was. And he's like, he just kept spamming that. And I'm like, bro, what is going on? And then before that, when he first made his way for the second time back to Echidna, and they had their conversation, he really started to like her, and he started to get finding out more. Like he started losing his mind, because he's like, man, I want to figure out how I can save Beatrice, and I want to know who is that person. Like, is it me, and all that stuff, right? So he goes up there to talk to her, and they have this incredible conversation. I believe it lasted like an episode and a half, or maybe I'm tripping, but I think that's how long it lasted. At least that's how it felt, and it was amazing. And that's where you first get to meet some of the other witches. And then right after that, he gets sent back, and that's whenever you see Satella, man. And here's the thing, right? From the very first episode, I was wondering, I was like, when is this going to come into play about the whole, but whenever this entire thing started, initially introducing herself as Satella, and then from then on being Amelia, I was like, yo, when is this going to become a plot point? When is it going to become important? Like, when are we going to get to that portion? And whenever he exited, because I believe it was that something started happening. So Subaru and Echidna were having this very incredible conversation, and then in the middle of that, he started having like these pains, and it started almost fainting, right? And he was like, "Yo, somebody must be waking me up. Somebody must be waking me up, right?" And whenever he says Amelia, I'm like, "Oh, my sweet mother of Flagler." So whenever he walks out, you see all this darkness and the shadow and everything being consumed. And in my mind, I'm like, what in the flying flowers is going on? I thought it was one of the witches, and technically it is. But I didn't expect it to be Satella, bro. Yo, when I saw the I love you pop up on the screen like a million times, I was like, bro, what is going on? It was being spammed. I was like, brother. And then whenever you get to look into her eyes, and the closer that she gets to Subaru, and then you follow that episode. You follow that episode with, you see that, you see her reaction to the entire thing, you see how she's going about this scenario. And I love how Subaru reacted to both what she stated. He was like, yo, she would never say anything like that, right? And then the same thing in Rem's case, whenever whenever the Witch of Lust came up to him in as Rem, and how Rem was speaking, and that gave me an entirely different point of view in episode 18 in of itself, of like how Rem always wanted him to stand up for himself and not lean on her. Like, she's gonna be there as a support pillar, but you gotta be the hero, man. You have to be the one to go up and like Summer because you're capable of that. And so those two, I really enjoyed seeing his reactions to both of those situations. But the Satella one really left an impact on me and left a massive mark. And I'll get back to that in a second when it comes to the Tea Party. But bro, besides that, this man Roswell, man. I mean, I was already a massive fan of the character because of his voice actor. You know, Takehiko Koyasu, the legend, the GOAT. Honestly, probably my favorite voice actor on the Japanese side of things. You know, he's voiced so many incredible characters, so many of my favorite characters. But his role here as Rosewall, it reminds me a lot of how I felt about Kisuke Urahara when I was first going through Bleach, right? And how I felt about Oshino, right? Yeah, Oshino, right? So with Rosewall here, from the very beginning, I had a feeling that there was going to be something taking place with his character, because it just felt odd to me that not only was he presented as, what was it, like the strongest mage or whatever it was, but also that he was the only one willing to back Emilia. So it's like, if he's the only one willing to back Emilia, then there has to be some sort of reason why that is, you know? Especially with the way that this writer is. This writer, I have enough confidence in his abilities to where there's always going to be something more than meets the eye to everything. We've definitely seen that within season 2. It's been nuts. But Rosewall, when I found out that he had enough faith in Subaru, or had like believed so much in Subaru because of how much he wants to fulfill his dream as well. He's under contract, and the same way that Beatrice is. That whole Beatrice scene almost broke me, man. I legitimately almost cried, bro. Like, for both, whenever she died, and whenever she was having that scene in the library, that joint was hitting hard, coach. But the scene with Rosewall was, it's like I had always wanted to see what it is that was going on in his head. So to have him clearly stated, but not only did he clearly state it, he stated it after this man Subaru came back after getting eaten by the great rabbits. My man's was missing an eye because of Elsa, and Beatrice made this man no, I had that backwards. Elsa hit him, slashed his eye, and right before he was about to get pwned by her, Beatrice teleports him all the way over there, back to the sanctuary and whatnot. And he goes out, puts on the headband, he runs into Satella Amelia, or whatever's going on there. I have so many questions. Whatever's going on there. And that joke was freaking me out. Or not even freaking me out, it was just, technically it kind of was. I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? But then you go after that, and you know, he goes in, meets up with some of the others. Otto has been an MVP in this arc, bro. This man Otto, bro, what he just recently did, man, punching Subaru back into where he needs to be. It was Ram and Garfield in the room, and this man Rose, bro, when he put his hand through both of them, when I tell y'all that I almost leaped out of my bed, I was so shook. Because the thing is it's one thing, because I had always been suspicious. But it's another for him to do it, because you're like, there had to have been a purpose, a reason. And when he follows that up, that he knows that Subaru can loop, or at least had a general idea, because he has the book that is not defective. There's only 2 individuals in the world who have one. And I was just losing my mind, bro, because then they follow that up with the 2 of them. I don't remember if it was in that scene or no, I think it was in that scene. I think that was the same scene where he beats up Subaru for a little bit, and then he stops. The rabbits start approaching, and then he goes out, the music starts playing. You have goosebumps, bro. The music starts playing, and then he tells Subaru about the fact that in order to reach the level that he's at, in terms of insanity, and in terms of doing whatever it takes, truly whatever it takes, to achieve your goal and to achieve whatever it is that whatever this man wants to do, he has traded away his sanity and his humanity in order to do so. And that he sees, I'm going to assume he sees a lot of Subaru in himself. And he's like, yo, not only that, but he's like, he can make it happen. And so he's willing to sacrifice the him that's here so that the him in another world can prevail. And I was like, what am I hearing? What am I hearing, bro? This is nuts. And then the fact that the episode never didn't even end there. This man Subaru gets obliterated by the rabbits, and he goes over to where Amelia is. And I'm like, there was Satella Amelia. And then you follow that episode up with the tea party. And that tea party, just from seeing how all of the characters were willing to protect him, the intensity of that dialogue, man, of just not knowing what Subaru's gonna do. My man's is mentally broken down. I didn't know if my dude was gonna go this way, that way, and then Satella shows up, and everyone is just like, hold on now. I love everybody's reactions to her. And she continues to approach him with the same type of dialogue with the I love you and whatnot, but then it changes slightly. Now, she's the one that saves him, because this entire time, he's been talking to both her and Amelia, and I still don't know what's going on there. I don't know if they're the same person. I don't know if, she resides with Amelia, or whatever it is, right? There's something going on there. But we could think about that after I catch up, if it hasn't been answered already. But he goes in, and then in the middle of all of that, right after being saved by some of the other ones, they all have their own different things to provide and to put into the situation. So he's gaining some sort of idea as to how all the witches are. And then she shows up, and just the way that she started speaking to him, and a matter of attempting to save him, with that same type of mindset that Subaru had towards her, of like, yo, I'm gonna save you. And we've seen that so many times within ReZero, and it's popped up from episode 1, literally from the first couple minutes, and still relevant now. It's relevant in the opening, it's relevant everywhere that you look. The I am going to save you no matter what it takes. Talking to both Satella and Amelia. And whenever that's followed up, because she's the one, she's like, yo, you need to realize that, because then Subaru attempts to take it on himself once again before he's healed and brought back by the witches. And Satella's like, look, what you have failed to realize within all of this amazing stuff that you've been doing within all that is that right in front of your face, you're realizing the number one thing, or you have failed to realize the number one thing that every single one of us have already realized, or at least that I've realized. And that is that you do not think of yourself in the same way that you think of everyone else. And when I heard that, because I immediately thought back to a couple episodes prior, whenever, I don't remember if it was in that same episode or whenever they initially met up, but they were talking about how Subaru, it makes it kind of feel like that he is this that he's attempting to make himself the tragic hero. Not that everything is making him turn into a tragic hero. And by the way, him yelling with every single fiber in his being to a kid in the first time that I can return by death, that junk almost made me cry, man. It was hitting so hard because it's like he finally got that out of his chest. But that's besides the point. So, getting back into that same note, Satella's like, yo, you put everyone else's deaths and their lives at extreme importance. but you don't treat your own that way. Like, look how easily you're willing to throw it all away. It's like, yo, love your own life as much as you love those of the others. Because you got to understand that what you leave behind when you die is going to be it's going to be the same way that you feel about the other people that they feel about you. And so don't die that much, man. Do not die. And I think it was one of the episodes, it was called The Value of Life. And it has been a major theme within these last couple arcs, within these last couple episodes, especially with what is followed up with her telling Subaru that eventually, when the time comes, he's going to have to take her out. He's going to have to end her. And I was like, man, the meaning of life, bro. The value of life. And he says, screw all that. I'm going to save you. And I was just like, yo, golden. This is greatness. But all of this and this entire binge I've done so far for season 2, like I said, I'm only on I'm about to start episode 39. But what this has shown me is that the very same sentiments that I had when I was watching season 1 is even doubled here, because just this series has a very special way of immersing you and capturing you within the flow. It kind of feels like, you know how Subaru was caught in Echidna's in her charisma. You know how all the other witches were making fun of him, like, yo, like, don't buy into everything that she's saying. Like she's like the way that she speaks, she can easily, it's like that one Fallout meme, you know, when the speech is like a 10, you know, her speech is a 10. And she's easily able to, you know, conduct a conversation in her favor and whatnot. You know, very, very slippery in terms of the tongue game. You know what I mean? So she most certainly, and that's, I think, why I like her character so much, because she just stands in that middle ground of like, yo, you never know not only what she's thinking, but because she is the witch of greed, and greed pertaining to wanting everything, you know, wanting knowledge, especially knowledge. Like, we're just wanting to know. I mean, for God's sakes, the part of the agreement that they were going to make was that she could just feel everything that Subaru feels, literally down to the T, like every single thing, just to be a part of that, because she wishes to take part in that portion of history. She wishes to take part in Subaru's life journey. You know what I mean? To be a part of all of that, and to know that at the very end, the reason why Subaru did not take her hand is because her own greed was not as large as Subaru's. Whereas Subaru believes that he can save everyone, that he has the resolve to go out and actually do both things. You know, save the ones in the mansion and save the ones that are here, within the graveyard, like with Amelia. So. And to know that that's how he was able to, or that's why he rejected her, because she didn't have enough greed. I just thought that was very fascinating. But then going into the final point here, man, because I gotta go back to continuing this. There's just so much. I know this isn't cohesive in the slightest, but I just gotta get all of his thoughts out there. And then this man, Roswell, man, he follows that up with stating that he has pretty much coordinated and conducted this entire situation because he is the one who placed it to where those individuals would attack the mansion. Not only did he do it for the purposes of wanting to make Subaru, you know, make a decision between one, you know, to strengthen his resolve to the point to where he would have to make a decision to either stick with Amelia or save the individual in the mansion. You know, he's gonna have to come to grips with one of those decisions. But it's also so that he can, because he knows he's looping, to continue to strip him of that humanity, because eventually, in his mind, he's like, he's gonna break. He's either gonna become like me, and he's gonna be forced to make one of these decisions, or he's just gonna break, right? And then we're gonna have to hit some sort of situation here. But Roswell, in his mind, he's like, yo, I'm doing the right thing. Like, I'm leading this all towards towards a moment where it's all gonna work out. Because he already knows that within the desires of Subaru's heart is Amelia. And he's going to end up picking her. And I think that's what's so fascinating about this entire situation, is because now that we know what's happening in both the mansion and in the graveyard, or in the sanctuary, we know how important freeing the sanctuary is to all the people that are here. We know how much that would mean to Amelia as a person that is trying to run for office in this show, to participate in the royal selection in order to get the backing of the people, for her to pass this and gain the backing of everybody is very important. But it's also just for her, because she is a nice of an individual, and to take part in this with her relation to Satella, to do that is and to overcome that is going to be massive for her character, right? So Roswell understands all that. He knows the benefits of that side. The thing on the mansion side, though, is that he's like, sacrifices needs to be made no matter what takes place. And he's like, in his mind, I'm just doing them a favor. Beatrice already wants to have the one that is chosen show up so that her contract can end and she can pass on. Like, that's what she's wanted this entire time. I'm gonna do her a favor. So in his mind, he's justified. And I think that's the scariest thing. Because it feels like everyone that we've come into within this arc has some sort of justification for what they're doing. And that always causes for extremely interesting situations. Because it's like, then that's why the characters are as like messed up as they are. Because where do they go? What do they even think? And one thing that's very relatable when it comes to Subaru, there's a lot of things that are relatable. One thing in particular that's very relatable with him is that the latest thing that somebody said to him sticks with him heavily, like until somebody else tells him either otherwise or gives him something new. So I'll give you a quick example. Somebody gives him a motivational speech. He sticks with that until he goes through something huge, and he's like, man, what do I do? And then he goes back to within his heart and thinks back to the things that have helped him in the past, like the major ones, like with like Rem's speech, Amelia, all that stuff. But before it gets to that point, he has like these little small motivations from things that just took place, like with Otto, for example, and then calling him a friend, or with this thing happening over this thing happening over here. And then that's overcome with so much grief that he needs another moment of and a push from someone else, like another type of speech, in order to be given to him so that he can continue progressing forward. And I think that's very relatable in terms of, there are a lot of moments where we go through certain things to where the latest thing that we heard impacts us, whether it's positively or negatively. And it's going to linger with us until somebody else kind of starts that from zero, and going with the whole concept of the show. Until somebody else comes along and tells us, like I said, either otherwise or, camping on, or like hammering home that same fact, like regardless of what it is, then that becomes the thing that resides in your mind until the next thing comes up. And I think that's just a very interesting thing to have for a main character in this type of show, especially with this type of show. And I'm enjoying it a lot, man. And I think that I don't even know if I covered everything, but I just, man, dude, it's nuts. Like, this is nuts right now, bro. It's wild. And like, there's so many things. Like, then there's what's her face that has like the original body in a tube, or like in this frozen thing, like the Master Chief, and then you have all these imitations that have been walking around for the last 400 years. I was like what? But then it makes sense within the confines in the universe, and then you start getting attached to the imitation, and then just like Subaru, you're like, man, like this is now after 400 years become its own person as well. Hell, even more real than the original. The original's been inside this tube for 400 years. And the imitations have been out here for 400. It's like, at this point, screw the one in the tube. This is the real one, right? And then I love the little take on identity and individualism, right? That they take on, like, I need to be myself. I need to create my own hobbies and take on my own personality. And then it's like, man, but there's, even with all of this being said, there's still a lot of mysteries, man. And it's crazy because we've just had the build up in the beginning of this entire thing with what was happening with Rem and how she's currently erased from everybody else's mind. And I think the only way she can be fixed from that is by taking out the individuals that attacked her at the beginning. But in order to do that, I'm sure that we're gonna have to defeat not only the Great Rabbit, but then eventually that snake thing. So it's like, man, dude, this I don't know. I have no idea how this arc is gonna wrap up, because now I really want to know what Subaru's going to do. I already know what his intention is. His intention is to save both the individuals in the mansion because of how much care he has for Beatrice, how much he wants to save Ram and Petra and Frederica and all them, everybody in the village. I know how much he cares for them. But at the same time, it's like, yo, what is he going to do about Amelia? Unless he has so much faith in Amelia that he's going to leave her to go out and do this thing on her own, and then go out and save those in the mansion. But then it's like, the last time he did that, Satella took over. So it's like, I don't know, man. This is nuts. It truly is a crazy situation for this man, Subaru. And I gotta give props to the author for writing this series in this way, to where it's just like every single time that he restarts, you come out with more information, but you also come out with more questions. And it's hard to pull that off, but he's doing it, man. Like, yo, what a series. But yeah, I just had to get off my chest, man. I'm gonna keep watching some greatness. Yo, ReZero's blowing my mind right now, man. I didn't expect this man Juice to have been such a GOAT back in the day, man. Yo, Amelia's backstory is hitting. Shout out to Mother Fortuna and her relationship with Juice. I love even how Amelia's like, yo, y'all both are acting like mother and father here, man. Like, I was like, dude, love it. And then out of nowhere, the Archbishop of Greece, so I'm like, yo, I haven't seen this dude since like episode 26. Like, what the flying fighter is going on, dude? No, but I just had to turn on the camera because I was like, man, just to know what Juice became and what he was, like, I'm really, really curious as to what turned him into that, right? Like I know the circumstances of ReZero can turn somebody insane, but I want to know what took place that caused him to get to that point. And but man, like my love for his character just skyrocketed after seeing this part of the backstory. But I got to continue the greatness, man. I just had to tell y'all that. What does this series have going on right now, man? I had to pause the episode because I was like, no, there's no way I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing right now, bro. Ryuzu goes on to talk about this old tale. Then Beatrice shows up, and I'm like, we're gonna watch the Beatrice's backstory. And then out of nowhere, Echidna shows up, and I know that based on what took place earlier on in the library, that she definitely has a connection to both Echidna and Beetlejuice. So it's like, oh my god, like what in the world is this backstory about to show us? Like, I feel like I'm about to witness the void century of ReZero here, man, because this is going to solve so many things. This is going to answer so many things. I had to, for the moment that Echidna showed up and Beatrice was like, yo, mother, I was like, what are we doing? I'll be back. This series right now has me in full-blown Tard mode, dude. I have had the second ending from the first season on repeat, son. That ending is quadruple S tier, bro. That is a phenomenal ending, especially the full version, bro. That full version hits. It hits, dog. Can't stop listening to it. And man, dude, from where I left off, right, I'm about to watch episode 45. As a matter of fact, I'm about a couple minutes into episode 45. And I just had to come on here and talk for a few minutes because it's about to hit me where it hits the hardest, right, man? This is the stuff that I love. This is the stuff that I adore. And almost all of my favorite stories have some sort of variation of this, man. And that is the teacher-student relationship. And I can't believe that it's come from them. And I can't believe I didn't see it until now, that it was them. That it was Echidna being the master, her being the teacher, with her disciples and her students being Roswell, Beatrice, and Ryuzu. this is about to hit different, man. This is about to hit on levels unforeseen. Son, I'm so hyped to get into it. But man, dude, like seeing how it is that Juice became the way that he is, and how his own mistake, you know, him in taking that the factor within himself, and then that causing him to mistake and not be able to see clearly whenever he went into to strike, and he ended up striking Fortuna instead. Man, that I was like, no, because it's like once you see it happen for your eyes, you're like, oh, I know where this is going, man. And it was an extremely emotional scene, and Amelia's tears after that were hitting hard because she was strong in front of a kid the entire time. But then once she went back to solitude on her own and she started breaking down, I was like, man, dude. Yeah, now I'm following. It's like that stuff between. What I love so much about the series that it's really showcased how the importance of other individuals, right, and what they can do to you, and so that you can move forward. You know, we've seen that with all of the characters, but in this particular case with Amelia, and how Subaru's words and his kiss was able to allow her to progress forward in this trial, you know, to attack him this way, to now be on these types of terms with Echidna, even though she continues to, you know, go at her and belittle her and all this different stuff. It's like it's not taken away from Amelia's purpose here, her goal here. And it's like Sweet Mother of Flanders, and while all that's going down, you're having the backstory being told outside, and now Subaru and Otto. Shout out to Otto, man. Dude is out here, and I love how this has been presented on like Human Echo type of style, like game board and stuff. It's really cool between Roswell and Subaru, but Otto being like the piece that nobody could have anticipated, and he's just this friend that Subaru has, and just pulling all that together it's awesome, man. And then Garfield, of course, with them too. But before I watch this episode, and before I dive into this greatness, I just want to talk about one thing, man, because it's destroying my psyche, right? So we got introduced to the Witch of Vanity, and I am so fascinated by what in the flying flagnards is her ability. Because, like, well, first of all, we got to see the other one, the Archbishop of Greed, who, you know, was going up in like swimwear. We see that he's extremely strong, as we saw at the beginning of the season. But to see him, you know, going up in like swimwear like this against other extremely capable individuals was crazy. But man, dude, like, the fact that the moment that Fortuna saw her, immediately was like, oh no, not her. Like, yeah, like, hold on, Chief. Like, whenever the dude showed up, it was no hesitation. But when they saw her, they were like, Sweet Mother of Flagnards. And now I see why. It's like her commands become what takes place. And I'm like, what in the flying flagnards is going on? And the ability to constantly regenerate. It's not even like it was regenerating. It's like as if the stuff never took place. And I'm like, is this an ability similar to Orihime's from Bleach? And it's nuts. And I'm like, dude, what is going on? And so I can't wait to see where that goes, because she's already stated that her and Amelia will meet once again. But this whole Amelia thing really has me like losing my mind. What is Amelia? And am I the only one like, because I haven't been able to talk with the community because I'm catching up, right? I don't know what the community feels like. Like, is she the daughter of Satella? Is she herself Satella? Because they keep saying that she's the daughter of the legendary witch, and it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And then the thing is with Fortuna, whenever she was in her dying breath, she was speaking like Puck, you know, Leah this and Leah that. And just so many things were in my mind. I was like, bro, what is going on? And you immediately follow that up with the biggest weakness to my entire storytelling heart, and that's a teacher-student flashback, and I'm not ready for this, man. So I'm about to go into it. I have a lot of questions, but I'm enjoying the flagnards out of this, bro. That ending is legendary, man. And we just got a new opening and ending too. But Yeah, man, this series has some bangers when it comes to soundtracks, but it's go time. Let's go. Yeah, dude. Why did I have to watch this episode so late in the night, man? Oh my god. Dude. I just finished watching episode 48. Oh my goodness, man. Dude, my hair, every hair in my body was on its feet for like 13 minutes straight. Yo, the meathead action, the incredible character moments, the twists, and then that ending side when the music cue hit, I legit almost started tearing up, bro. I was like, yo, just because of how it's like a combination of how emotional the scene was, but also because I couldn't believe I was experiencing something so masterclass, man. This episode was beyond masterclass, bro. Yo, rezero, son. I'm sweating buckets right now, dude. I'm shaking. I'm legit shaking. I'm shaking. When you start off the episode with Amelia's final trial, you know, getting all of those incredible feel-good feels, her rejecting the future that is ideal for the actual future in front of her because she realizes that she can make it a wonderful future. You know, what happened in the past made her who she is now. You know what I mean? And I love that type of stuff in stories. Is to have Amelia have those moments. And she goes into the tea party section. Echidna wasn't there. I wonder what that's gonna lead into. But then we get to see her actual body surrounded by this massive spell-like thing, like it's called out of Code Lyoko. And I'm like, yo, or like dot hack sign. And like, so you don't get to see her. And then when the spell goes out, she leaves the place. But before that, whenever she was still in the where the tea party took place, she met up with the one who healed Subaru, the one with the blonde hair, the witch that's really nice. And man, dude, the feels were hitting. But then, you know, she completes the trial, goes out, and everything's frozen. And it's like, what in the black nurse is going on? Did she end up on our side? Or is she like in some parallel universe? Or is she here, but we haven't seen that yet? Because we're still on, you know, where everybody else is. But regardless, I was like, what in the black nurse is going on? And then we switch over to the mansion. And we have a dude, injected, dude. Elsa versus Garfield. It is without a doubt one of my favorite fights that I have watched in a while, man. That junk was so hype, so emotional, just it was the build up to it, right? Because you know they're both sickos. It reminds me of how I felt whenever there's a certain fight that takes place in Gintama earlier on in the 4-arc serious arc stretch, where between two characters that are absolute savages. That's how I felt. I was like, yeah, when the battle started off and they both declared their names and they both got hype, from then on it was just non-stop. I mean, the action sequences, the attack patterns, the strategies, what they were utilizing. I mean, it was just, then the dialogue. It was the dialogue, bro, that was getting to me. And you get to find out more about Elsa's backstory. That's when I knew it was over for her, man. And then the girl from the village, who's her sister, the Mobbies chick, she comes in on a massive hippo. And now Frederica, now it's a 2v2. And so you still have all these 2v2 action going down. And oh man, it was legendary. It was so goated. But the end of the fight, whenever they just started going at it, and then they're on the floor and they're biting each other to see who's gonna laugh. I was like, what am I witnessing, dude? And it ends there. Hippo comes down. What was it that Elsa said? It was like, what a thrill. Ballo. I was like, yo, this is peak. This is gold. And so all that happens. Meanwhile, Subaru says, screw all that. I'm gonna go get Beatrice, man. Screw all of this is going down. I am going to go save Beatrice, bro. And he went off to do that, while Otto and Petra and them now have to take care of the situation, hand over there with the oil, and they burn the flagnards out of that thing. And you switch over, man. And you get to see Roswell versus Puck and Ram. You get Ram's confession. They start duking it out. The music starts hitting. Oh my god, dude, the chills, the chills. And then you go in and it looks like she's about to cut this man Roswell down the middle or whatever it is. But no, she went for the book. She went for the book. It's like, yo, this is the source of everything that's gone wrong. And as the music gets more intense, you see the flashbacks to Echidna and Roswell's relationship. She throws that thing into the fire. And that's how the episode ends. When the credits started rolling, bro, I was like, yeah, I almost started clapping. But yeah, I gotta watch this next episode. It is late, but I can't stop, man. I can't stop. 3-0 too, bro. This junk is hitting different right now. That episode was masterclass. Bro. That's why I watch anime. Because it's capable of something like this. You know, I've been blessed in the past couple of years to have watched some truly incredible stuff. And what I just experienced is among the very best of that, man. This man, Natsuki Subaru, bro. I gotta say his name. I gotta say his full name, bro. I can't disrespect him. Natsuki Subaru. Hold on, Chief. This man, the house was burning down. He was kicked out several times. Even the front entrance was burned down. And then because this writer is such a genius, he brought together the two plot points that I should have put in my mind that were right in front of me the entire time and connected them. Number one, that Beatrice was always waiting by the door for that person, and it was left blank for a reason. Always waiting by the door. The door would change here, the door would change here, the door would change here. And right when Subaru was gonna go enter that door the first time, his hand froze off, and that was one of the deaths. But here we're in a situation where he had to open every single door in the house, and that was the last one. And now her, with flames surrounding all around, she's still in that very same spot, holding the book, waiting for that person. And Subaru comes in, finally able to finish what he's been wanting to say this whole time. And he goes on to say, I'm not that person. I'm not. But by the Flagnards, choose me. You make that decision. You have the inner freedom to write the next part of that book. Don't let that book determine your future. You write the future. You put my name in that book. Choose me. That joke was so beautiful, bro. Just everything about it was just so, dog. Like finally being able to see her side of the flashback of what actually took place. You know, seeing Roswell never talking to her. You know, going in, continuing his own studies. Echidna leaving this place to her and letting her know, you know, when, to wait for that person to come. And what have you, and just holding on to that for 400 years. People coming and going. And this random dude comes in here and calls her an NPC. And little does she know the impact that would have. And there's one thing that Subaru said that forever solidified him as an incredible character in my eyes. Because it is something that real deal hit right here in the soul, man. My man said, yo, even if I'm with you for only a moment, because her lifespan is much longer, but even if I'm with you for only a moment, let's focus on the fact that we can live on tomorrow. Let's focus on the fact that we can get out of here and worry about that later. I may be with you for only a moment, but I'm gonna make that moment as memorable as possible, so memorable that even way down the line, when I'm long dead, you'll never be able to forget Natsuki Subaru. No matter what happens, I was like, yo, that's me. That's such an amazing line. This man Subaru's, I mean, he's had some gold speeches in this series. Oh man, that was just, oh bro. Yo, I don't know how ReZero did it, and I'm kind of scared to watch the next episode now, and I have to wait until tomorrow, because I thought episode 48 was gonna be the peak of season 2, and you follow that up like something that legendary, bro. Like that was golden. Wow, man. And then when the music hit and they both fly off, she finally takes his hand, the music, the way that so good. They go off, Amelia's fighting off the rabbits, and Subaru arrives like he's a Shonen Jump MC, ready to go up in like somewhere with Beatrice in hand. It's time for the finale of this season, man. I can't even, dude. I seriously can't. I seriously can't, dude. Like, this binge has been such an eye-opening experience for me on multiple different levels. But I'm so glad I did it, man. Like, it's just once again reaffirming that even if you really enjoy something, you know, go back through it again, because it might end up, you know, making you feel differently than when you initially experienced it. Because watching this from episode 1 up until now has been marvelous, man. And it's been another great reminder of why I truly love anime and manga. And man, dude, this series, it just does my favorite thing ever in placing the opening and ending in epic moments, but it just excels at that so well. The ending theme that's currently right now is so amazing, visually and from an audio standpoint. But before I cut this off, because it's so late, dude, I don't even care. It's ReZero, dude. What an amazing, amazing, amazing episode. With the villagers finally backing up Amelia with their own heart and mind. They're backing her up to the max. And then to go back over there and Subaru, just his determination to ensure, going through every single door. Flames are burning, who cares? I'm gonna save her. And just the lines that he was spitting, man. those lines hit here. I mean, they hit hard. They hit hard, man. And you know that an MC is spitting when they hit you. And he was spitting, man. That's something I can take with me in the future, bro. That I'll become so memorable that even though I'm with you for only a moment, I'm gonna make that moment as memorable as possible. So choose me. I may not be the one written in your book. That's why it's up to you. You need to make the decision. You need to be the one to write it. You are the one who controls your future. Don't let it control you. Choose me, and let's go. Go it, man. Wow, bro. I didn't expect today. I've watched so many episodes, and I didn't expect everything that I got, man. Like, man, dude. I just love that theme so much. And when it's executed like that, and especially whenever you see the genius of having all these set pieces that have been put into place since the very beginning of the story, and that was the payoff to all of those introductions, to all of those moments. That was the payoff. And what a glorious payoff it was, and it's still not over. Whatever this book is, this novel, if it's out in America, I need to buy it. I need to buy it. These last like 4 episodes in novel form. I need it. I need it, bro. It is too legendary. I need to see the original writing. I need to see how everything flowed, what the author's original intent was. I have to see it, bro. I have to experience it, man. Wow, man. Wow, wow, wow. Flipping the flag north, bro. I mean, it hits. It hits. It hits. Can't believe I started this off just wanting to talk about my thoughts on season 1 again in the beginning of season 2. And I ended up doing a Monogatari-esque thing for it. It's incredible how the world works. It truly is incredible how things work, man. Man, dude. Natsuki Subaru greatness. Rezero greatness. You know, this arc has really took its time exploring this portion of the story, because in comparison to season 1, it really is only focusing on this one part. And the way that it's done it, and the payoffs to it, for all the character arcs, for all the moments, it's just been so exceptional, man. What an episode, bro. And yeah, man. We'll be back here tomorrow. We'll be back here tomorrow, bro. I can smell it. Yeah, I'm not even gonna put all these together yet. I'm gonna wait for tomorrow's episode. Just based on what I've experiencing, it looks like tomorrow's gonna be another banger. Oh man. 30-minute episodes of pure masterclass greatness. I gotta rewatch that scene, bro. I gotta rewatch that entire episode. Like, this is amazing. It's just insane to me. That's what the writer had in mind when Beatrice was introduced. And all the set pieces we were put into play, like, it was all to lead into that moment. Choose me. Oh, man, yo. I'm out of here, man. Y'all have a good one. I gotta get some sleep, dude. Craziness, man. Wow. We have finally arrived at this point, man. The end of this magnificent catch-up journey that I have been on for the past couple of days. I'm currently waiting for a phone call, so if they call in the middle of this, man, I'm gonna have to cut it off and then immediately get right back into it. So I hope it doesn't get to that point, but here we go, man. ReZero, Season 2, Episode 50. I was like, you know what? It's too special of a moment, too special of a situation. I've already shared my entire journey with y'all up until this point, through the means of, you know, keeping you updated with how I've been feeling about it. I was like, well, why not react to the final episode of Season 2, bro? Man, I don't know if I'm emotionally ready for what's about to go down, man. I still can't get over what took place last night. You know, like, last night's episodes were out of this world. Here we go, man. ReZero, Season 2, Episode 50. In 3, 2, 1, let's jam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ram, man. Beatrice is like, yo, look in front of you. Look at all them red eyes. For real. $400, man. Look at them, yo. They're ready. They're chomping at the bits. He's already faced this before. And after one boy just went through, he ain't gonna be scared of nothing. Here we go. Sweet flag Nards. Obliterated them, bro. Not the double attack. Tag team action. It's like an endless horde, man. That's interesting. It's like it may come infinite, but they have to stop at a certain point. That's facts. This man is the greatest bait in the history of anything. Every single plan that has had this man as bait has become successful at one point in time. You know what I mean? You know, Amelia's charging up something, and she freezes all of that. So it's like a combined attack, trapping them all inside of that little barrier. She's raising that mug. And the smile. You're eating each other? They're gone? Is that it? Isolated space, much like a forbidden library. It's insane magic. Man, dude. Rem lives. Rem lives. Let's go, dude. She lives. And with tears coming down Roswell's face, but. He's like, screw saying it. I'ma lift you up. You love to see it. It's like, man, after everything that they went through, that was well deserved. A well deserved hug and tossing around. Man, what a journey it's been, bro. There they are in front of their master's grave. One thing, they've never shown her eyes. At least they haven't shown in a while. Outside of like seeing her in the graveyard. That's all good. I chose Subaru. Subaru greatness. There it is. There it is. Dog, that episode was so bad. Like, the real one. On some Orochimaru stuff. Yo, that is the real him. You see it in the eyes. That's the real him. No. She slapped the black darts on that man. Man, dude. Stop it with the flashbacks, coach. No. Not the welcome back. Stop it now, Goku. And it shows the two of them. And how they were back then, even though Beatrice hasn't changed, but Roswell. There it is. The closed eyes. It's black darts, man. Both of them have changed, man. Both of them have gone through such a massive journey within not only just the whole series, but within this particular season. Oh, she's about to bring it up. She's about to bring up the moment of legend. Here we go. Okay, okay. Not the proper discussion. What? Oh, wait. What? Oh, what? And I was legit shook. I was like, what is he talking about? Is there something about this world that I don't know of yet? Then Garfield hit the mess out of this man. That was a good one. That was a good twist. Dang, they're all taking turns swinging at this man. His cheeks. The lap pillow. What in the flying flagnards is that? Is that like a proof of the of the an oath sealed with a curse? No, it's the contract. I thought this was the way that he transitions from body to body. Oh, okay, never mind. Good point. Good point. Man, stop it now, Goku, bro. She really cared about Garfield, man. Let's go. Let's go, man. Yo, that's how you know it's real. When he's doing it on Echidna's name. A childlike innocence, man. It's like you can't blame her for feeling that way, man, especially as a kid. The most important thing. She wants the apology. She wants the apology. There it is. That's all Amelia needed to hear. Yo, look at my boy Otto. Look at Garfield. Okay, everybody dressed up. Look at my boy Subaru looking dripped out, son. Okay. There it is. Coming from his own words. That is his deepest wish. Ram. Amelia. Everybody's drift out, man. A ceremony of the conferment of knighthood. Natsuki Subaru, come forward. And we saw his knight-like actions within this arc, man. You earned the praise of the witch's disciple. You win for today. No, man. No. No. Greatness. Man, dude. Yo. That's just who my boy is, dog. He doesn't have to drink in order to bring out the truth within his own being. He's like, yo, I'm real myself and everything just took place. You know what I mean? Me too, and that's scary. The fact that things could possibly get tough because the more capable allies that we have, the more insane it's about to get, man. And I don't know how we're gonna surpass what we just went through, bro. It's gonna be great. I mean, I guess I can see it considering the amount of insanity we saw within like the flashbacks and within the characters and whatnot. So, woo. Mm. Stuff they want to say to each other. I'm there. We know how important promises are in this series, especially to Amelia. The line, the mama line. Of course not, dog. That's right. The theme of loving oneself and not solely relying on self-sacrifice. The importance of relying on other people and depending on other people, but also loving yourself, man. Greatness. Look at this man, Otto. Look at Garfield. Yo, Otto's out, bro. No, they get their own full-on dance. Yo, this is so well deserved, man, after all the pain and all the struggles they went through. Offbeat steps under the moonlight. Man, rezero, bro. That's it. Like, man, this season, bro. This season, it's insane to me how, bro. Ram, man, like, how are we gonna get Ram back? I'm so happy that Ram is alive, right? Still going up in like swimwear now, but I need Ram back, man. So I wonder where that's gonna lead to in the future. But man, dude, like, it's insane to me how much, like, everything changed, at least for me, at the beginning of this season. Like, had I never watched episode 29, I would have never embarked on this incredible journey that I would eventually ended up going on, and going back to the very beginning of the series and watching it all over again and truly connecting and enjoying it to the highest degree. So much so that, look at them, bro. Just look at them. It's like, man, what an amazing, amazing series, bro. And I thought season 1 was incredible. And in my heart, I was like, bro, it's gonna be hard to like surpass what was done there. And that's the final shot. But season 2 not only did that, but it took it to the next level, man. And knowing, just having the track record attached so far, I can't even imagine what season 3 is about to have in store. And I don't know if I'm gonna be waiting for it, man. I'm telling you right now, this novel volume, actually, I can't even search it up. When I get finished here, as a matter of fact, I don't even have to, bro. I have the books app right here, the iBooks. I need to see which ReZero volumes they have, because I want to buy some of these. If it's digital, whatever, man, digital, physical, whatever. I need to buy some of these volumes from this season because I need to see how the original source material was, you know, man, and just so that I can see the original author's intent, but to also see just how marvelous of an adaptation White Fox did. Because I can tell, even though I've never read the original source material, I can tell how much these individuals love ReZero. The attention to detail when it comes to soundtracks, when it comes to the way that everything's been adapted, the way everything flows so well. It's just, man, what an amazing season, what an amazing series. The soundtrack is absolutely triple S tier, man. From the openings to the endings to the soundtracks they use within the show to the insert songs that they'll have, which is my biggest weakness. And man, dude, what I love so much about this right here is that we got some answers, but we still have so many questions, right? So it's like, man, it's incredible. It's incredible. What a way to end the season. Like I said, man, I want to dive right into the books that I can't even see. I don't know where the books are right now. I don't know if it's like how the usual adaptation thing is when it comes to releasing stuff in America. Like usually whenever stuff gets released in America, they do it to where it coincides with where it's airing in it with its anime counterpart. Like that's how they capitalize on making as much money as possible. So like for example, now that My Hero is going to be airing, this arc's about to be going on, where One Piece is in the volumes, like that is the manga volume that's currently being pushed out, is the content that was just recently put out in the anime, so it can capitalize on those sales. And so does ReZero do that too, or because of that long hiatus, did it like catch up to the light novels or to the anime a long time ago, and now the light novels are way ahead? Like I want to know, man. Because I already know. Like I said, I don't remember when the original ReZero came out, but I know it was a while back. And so to have this season take place so many years later, it's like, man, I don't know if I can wait that long, bro. You know what I mean? But man, what a journey, what an experience. And I'm so glad I went through it. Once again, if you have gotten to this point in the video, number one, thank you for watching this mammoth. But number two, just a big thank you and a message to everyone that if you're not feeling a series the first time around, go back and retry it no matter how many years it is later. You might just come to truly appreciate what is taking place. You might come to truly appreciate it. It might become a favorite. Like, it might become one of those you look back on and be like, man, what an amazing series. That's how I feel right now, bro. Like, I'm so glad I embarked on this journey, perfectly timing it to catching up to episode 50, which is nuts. And just, man, I had so much fun, bro. And I was able to get so much from an inspirational and creative standpoint. Just being able to be completely, just within the world, immersed and loving every second of what I'm experiencing. And man, what an adventure and what a journey. Man, it's crazy because if I would have just watched season 2 and never gone back to watch the first one, I would have just been like, man, what a great journey. But the fact that went all the way back to the beginning and went to here, oh man, it hits different, man. I need more, bro. I need more, man. It's like, I just caught up. My tard levels are extremely high, and now you're telling me it's gone. I know the director's cut is out. I know that from on Crunchyroll, I saw that something called the Frozen Bond, which I think is the Emilia flashback, right? Just based on the thumbnail. So I might just end up watching that. I really want to watch the director's cuts. Versions of the episodes, because I want to see what the original intent was there, and like director's cuts usually leaves in certain things that was originally taken out, so I want to see what was taken out, what was left in, especially for my favorite episodes, because that's only for season 1, right? Yeah, on that part. But man, dude, what a journey, what an experience. Looking back on everything up until this point with how all these set pieces, like for example, looking back on the original series and knowing that knighthood and him declaring himself as her knight, and just how everything was taking place there, and then her rejecting him, and then leading down the spiral of things just going crazy from then on. But it all left for this payoff right here of him truly becoming her knight. Both of them now getting to the point, their characters have grown so much, and you can just see that within this episode itself, man. And I've really loved the theme, not only of this series, but in this season in particular, of loving yourself, and also to not rely on self-sacrifice, man, to depend and rely on others, the importance of somebody else's love and how that can take you to where you need to go, man. And I adore that so much, bro, because it is a message that really hits home for the type of story this is, and for the type of character that Subaru was, and it's becoming before our very eyes. You know, Subaru before this didn't even want to engage with anybody else in school. He didn't want to speak to anyone else. Like he wanted to keep to himself, because he was, you know, under that massive shadow of what was his father, and wanting to become something. But then, you know, life just didn't work out to where he would go to school, and he ended up becoming a clown, and people just stopped, you know, paying attention to him, or would bully him, or would just like ignore him, and he felt like he no longer had a place to belong, or he felt like, you know, wherever it is that he went, people would like ostracize him, and then that led him to not wanting to go to school anymore and whatnot, because he was just like, yo, I want a fresh start, but that fresh start isn't gonna come, because, you know, at this point you have to go back and make that fresh start yourself. Like, you yourself have to change first before you can have that fresh start before everybody else's eyes. You have to start over from zero, you know, and just to go from there, and to see where we are now, and how much he's changed as an individual from the very beginning until now. And it's what a journey, man. What a series. Loving the themes, loving the messages, and I have to seek out the original source material now, bro. Like, I have to, even if I don't read like beyond what's already out, just to read what's already there, especially my favorite stuff. I really want to see the original work, man, and just to get some more ReZero greatness, because it feels like this is gonna be it for quite some time. But man, dude, I want to thank y'all so much for being with me on this journey. If you have watched this video, I know this video is not going to be for everybody, because I'm a One Piece related YouTube channel, but for individuals that have watched this, man, I thank you first and foremost for listening to me ramble for what is now like probably like 2 hours or something like that. But man, what a series, bro. And I'm so glad I embarked on this journey, man. Like, if you're thinking about embarking on a journey, do it, bro. Just press play, man. You never know if it's gonna end up being that experience for you, of like, yeah, you know, this was it. Regardless of whether you're experiencing something new or you're re-experiencing something, man. You know, what a journey, bro. But yo, I hope everybody has an awesome sauce of a day. This is the end of the catch-up. This is the end of the journey. ReZero Season 2, Episode 50. And ReZero Season 2, the entire catch-up journey has come to a close. And I can't wait to get into the novels, man. And I'm gonna continue listening to the incredible soundtracks, and man, I'll rewatching some scenes, because too much greatness took place for me not to go back and rewatch it, you know. But y'all have a blessed one, man. Everybody takes care. ReZero greatness, man. Natsuki Subaru greatness.